Hey Stampers, it's Judy Klock here at Stamping with Crafty Klock, and I'm coming to you today for my live demo, but I'm doing something a little bit different. Well, first of all, it's recorded because I'm leaving on vacation, but I always get asked about our Paper Pumpkin monthly subscription box and what's in it. So I thought I would take some time. Mine just came in I don't know, maybe 2 days ago, and I thought I would take some time to show you everything that comes in Paper Pumpkin monthly subscription box. They do vary from month to month, but mostly it's cards, and usually 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs. I apologize. I'm still fighting that sinus infection. So you always get a little Stampin' spot. Oh, let me move let me switch. There we go. So you always get a stamping spot. And this time we're getting the new in color copper clay. And then you get your stamp set. Okay, so you always get like a photopolymer stamp set. You always get a little blurb about what's coming next. And it gives you some options so you can scan and explore coordinating products. And of course, it comes all wrapped in this really pretty boho blue tissue paper. And next month, this set will coordinate with the countryside in suite. And there's actually an add-on of some dies. You can buy like 3 little dies. Apologize, for $6. So let's go ahead and open our kit and see what's in it. And look how, isn't that box? I mean, the box itself is just so pretty. All right, so let's go ahead and open our kit. And we're going to take a look at all the different components, and then we're going to make one each of the 3 cards. Okay. You also get, okay, so this, if I can actually open it, is what comes in our Paper Pumpkin kit. So we've got some linen thread, some dimensionals. We've got coordinating colors, coordinating envelopes rather, and these are all the new in colors. We've got 9 different card bases, 3 each of the 3 different designs. That one's upside down. I think the canoe should be in the water, not in the sky. Okay. And we've got some punch out labels. And we've got our last set of card bases. This looks like a little extra bonus with some stickers. How fun is that? And then just some more component pieces, a couple of punch outs like binoculars, compass. Okay, and they always give you glue dots. Now, I personally do not like these glue dots. I find them a little difficult to work with. So I usually just toss them, and I use my trusty Stampin' Seal. And you also get a full set of color instructions that show you how to make each of the cards step by step. Okay, so it'll show you card 1. This is everything that we need. Card 2 and card 3. It also gives you a handy little ruler on the side so you can measure out your twine. This is going to be very hard for me today. Okay. Can't wait till I am completely over the sinus infection. All right. So I'm just going to punch out our pieces. Just kind of stack them up. So now these, they always give you extras of these labels in case you make a mistake when you're stamping. You don't have to worry. You've got at least one extra. So an oopsie isn't going to be fatal. And then we've got our 3 little binoculars. 3 little compasses. And these are, these are accent pieces usually. They usually go behind something, and we'll look at those as we make our cards. But this is that new Moody Mauve. Isn't it pretty? Such a pretty color. Okay. All right. This is not going so fast. All right. So there we go. So let's look at our directions and see what it says for our first one. So our first one, we are going to use the base that has the tent on it. Let's find our base with our tent. All right. There it is. I'm going to fold it in half. So now this is telling me I'm going to stamp happy birthday on one of the white labels that have the blue stripes. And then we're going to cut 12 inches of our linen thread and kind of cross it over in a figure 8. And then we're just going to go ahead and assemble everything. So let's go ahead and get ready. All right, so we need that. We need one of these. I'm going to move all of this out of the way. And just keep the pieces that we need for this particular card. All right, I don't think I opened my... Now, sometimes these can be a little tricky to open. If you have your paper snips handy, just go ahead and slit that kind of right where the two meet. And hopefully. Not quite. I don't know why this is like the hard, out of the whole card, this is actually the hardest part for me, is opening up these silly ink spots. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to find the happy birthday. Stamp. Okay, I'm going to get a clear block. So the first time you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you will get a clear block in your box. And that is something that you can reuse month after month. And obviously, you can keep your stamp sets and you reuse them for any particular occasion. All right, so these are photopolymers. So I pulled in my Stampin' Pierce mat. Now my stamp is bigger than my stamp pad, so I'm just going to kind of turn my little spot upside down and ink it up. Hopefully that looks like it's got enough on there, and we're ready to stamp our happy birthday. All right, perfect. Let's close that up for a minute. Now, let's move this out of our way. Now we have to measure 12 inches of our linen thread. So I've got our little ruler down here. Going to cut 12 inches of our linen thread. If I can find the end. Sometimes this is harder than it appears. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. There we go. Is that it? I thought, there we go. All right. Sometimes it's hard to, and when it comes off the spool, it's kind of like all twisty. If you just kind of run it through your thumb and forefinger, that'll kind of straighten it out and make it nice. All right. Just a little pro tip there I've learned over the years of working with this. All right, so this piece, so the little, as you're reading this, the little black circles, that's the glue dots. The large white octagonal or hexagonal spots, those are dimensionals. So that's how you can tell the difference. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this on our card front. Now again, I don't like the glue dots, so I'm just going to use my Stampin' seal. I just find it easier. But if I was away and I forgot my Stampin' seal, I'd use the glue dots. Okay, now it's telling me to put a little bit of a dot in the middle here. Okay, and we're gonna kind of just loop this in a rough figure 8. Okay, we're not really tying it in a bow. We're just gonna loop it into a figure 8. Okay, just gonna make it a little bit even. Okay, that's about as even as I think I'm gonna get it. Okay. All right, and now we're going to put this just kind of right there on that. Now we're going to come here with our stamped sentiment, and we're going to add some dimensionals. They're saying just add 2. I think I might add 3 because it's a pretty long piece. And just a little bit of this moody mauve peeks through. And then we're going to finish it up with a pair of the binoculars on a dimensional. And there we have our first card. I'm going to trim this up just a bit. Okay, and that is card number 1. So how quick and easy is that? For someone who just wants a really quick and easy, creative little project that's not going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of supplies, paper pumpkins are the perfect fit. All right, let's go on to our second card. So this one, we're going to use the canoe. Okay, let's find our canoe. There is our canoe. All right. Now for this one, we're going to stamp Life is Meant for Good Friends and Great Adventures. We're going to stamp that on one of the big ones with the little fancy corners, and it's got the wild wheat outline. So let's go ahead and find our stamp set. Okay. And again, this stamp is bigger than my ink pad. So I'm going to turn this upside down, and I am going to ink up my stamp. Okay. I'm going to get that nice and covered. Okay, just kind of make sure you can see ink on all of it. You can check when you turn it over. That looks like it's pretty good coverage. And now we're just going to stamp this right there. All right, we got that one. Now we're ready to assemble it. Like I said, these are going to go by really quick and easy. So if you imagine if we did 3 of these, how quickly this would go. So we're going to cut, it's saying 20 inches of our twine. So back to our little handy measuring guide at the bottom of our instruction booklet. All right, that only goes to 18, so we'll have to do another 2 inches to get to 20. All right. So now what do we do? All right, so now we want to wind this around that wide pink piece, which I put somewhere. There it is. It was upside down, so I saw white, not pink. All right, we're going to wrap this around, and then we're going to tie it in a bow in the front. So this might be a little bit harder. Okay. So, all right. So you wrap it around about twice, and then you're going to tie it in a bow. I think this might be the hardest part of this whole one, is just getting this tied into a pretty little bow. All right. So now we've got that. I'm just going to kind of push those ends together. Now this one, you can see from the instructions, it's got the white outlined dots. We know those are dimensionals. So I'm going to put on 4 of these. So once you understand what the drawings mean, then it's very easy to put these together. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this kind of right, not quite to the top, right, like right there. Right, right, I might trim these ends just a wee bit. Okay, I don't want them to be quite so long. All right, and then we're going to add this, our little stamped sentiment. We're just going to add that right here with some Stampin' Seal. Or, if you're using the glue dots, use the glue dots that came with it. But like I said, I prefer to use the Stampin' Seal. So that's just going to go right here. And that is our second card from this paper pumpkin. All right, we've got one more design that we need to look at. So this one is the mountains. Okay, now this one it's going to use both a compass. It's going to use that long, skinny, squared off piece rectangle of Moody Mauve. Then we've got our rectangular sentiment label with, looks like that's, I can't tell, that might be Pebbled Path. Kind of hard for me to tell, but I think that's what the color that is Pebbled Path. All right, and then we need 14 inches of ribbon. So let's go ahead and get everything cut. All right, we're going to need 14 inches of our linen thread. So back to our handy little guide here. So I'm telling you, they really have thought of everything you would need with these kits. All right, so now let's get our sentiment stamped. This one is, it doesn't matter where you're going, it matters who's beside you. Very true. I want to make sure you're along, that people you like are along for the ride, right? It's the point of going for the ride if you don't like the people that you're with. All right, so let's go ahead and get that inked up. All right, let's do that. All right, now let's get this third card assembled. All right, so for this one, we are going to add Stampin' Seal to the back of this pink piece. Okay, that's going to put that kind of right along the top, centered in along the top. Now we've got this piece we're going to add. So this is telling you to do it a little bit different. I like to add a little bit of Stampin' Seal to this because we want to catch our linen thread on the back of this. So I'm going to kind of wrap it around my fingers, right? We're going to make it, might be not wide, not long enough. Let me do a 4. Okay. Maybe would have done a little bit more than 14 inches, I think. Like maybe 16 or 18. Okay. So now we're just going to kind of put this on that Stampin' Seal that we have to kind of hold that in place. We're going to go ahead and add some dimensionals. This is all popping up with a dimensional. All right, let's go ahead and add 3. All right, this kind of gets put right on the middle of that, and then we're going to go and add a compass with a dimensional. And that goes right there. All right, and those are the 3 designs that came with this month's Paper Pumpkin. So if you want to subscribe a Paper Pumpkin, you need to subscribe by the 10th of every month. So for June, you need to subscribe by June 10th. If you'd like to subscribe, I'll put a link down in the description below, and you can sign up for the Paper Pumpkin. I believe it is $24.50, all inclusive. That includes postage to send it to you. So, you know, it's a great way to get a little project that's fun to do, to build up your supply of ink, and to build up your supply of stamps. Because every month you get a new ink spot and a new stamp set. That's it for me. I'll see you here next week. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.